Hey, this is Joe Healy, aka the Devfish. Today in the Florida.net Minute, we're going to let Kevin Wolf, the Bite Master on Twitter, take us hands-on into a look at the HTC HD2. We'll see some features of the phone, and he'll side-by-side it with some other Windows Phone devices, and some Android devices, and the iPhone. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get going.
There's a lot of things that I really liked about it. The first thing that I like about it is really the display. I mean, if you look at the thing, this thing is just huge. The other thing is it's not only huge, but the DPI on it is pretty big. It's got 192.
Put the Coke can next to it. Let's see.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So there's the size of a Coke can.
Wow, okay. Size of a Coke can and just as wide.
Yep, so pretty big. But like I say, it's not only just the size of the display, it's also the DPI on it. If you look at it, I mean, the graphics on here are just incredible. So if we go to the weather application, as it wakes up here again, or it's the browser, I guess, there. If we go to the weather application, it's going there saying, oh, thinking we're in town country, must have picked up that as the last location I drove through. But you can see as the clouds kind of go in like that, and when there's rain coming down, you can kind of see drops of water come down the screen, little kind of windshield wiper on there, nice little kind of animated stuff. So it just kind of makes it a little more pleasant experience. So that's probably one of the best features I like on it is the size of the display, and then the HTC's kind of the Sense interface, the way that we can interact with it, just everything that we need with kind of in one kind of common area here.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So there's other couple of things that are kind of neat about the capacitive multi-touches too. Second thing is that you can use more of the actual kind of the hardware real estate of your front screen for the actual display itself. With the resistive, you got to kind of have some circuitry and stuff along the outside, so you can actually use more of the device for the actual display, so it's not quite as big as it really would need to be. The third thing, which I think is probably even more important than the other two, is just the responsiveness, being able to do your flicks, your gestures, and those types of things with the device. It's really so much more responsive, where sometimes with some of the resistive type display, you kind of got to fudge it and try to get it to where it goes, but this is very, very
Show
simple.
some responsiveness on it.
Okay, let's go actually back to our launcher, and let's see, let's bring up, oh, I don't know. Let me go back here and just kind of flick it.
Ooh.
Bring up the different screens. Let's go into our weather. But I mean, everything as far as, I guess it's not really so much flicking on that as just touching it, but you kind of get the idea. You can see it's got a little 1/8 inch jack down there, so I just plug in any standard headphones in there. The other neat thing kind of with this is it's actually using the micro USB interface to be able to hook up to the computers, which isn't so much standard now, but I think you're going to see a lot more of that in the future. The 5 buttons on the bottom to be able to bring up the home page, bring up the Windows start menu. Here you can kind of see the flicking and stuff. It's just really natural to be able to kind of scroll it up and down. It's just a great device. Out of the box here, it comes with this little program called Wi-Fi router, which I'm sure we'll talk about programs in just a little bit here, but that's kind of a neat one that actually turns your device into a Sprint Wi-Fi or kind of the Verizon Wi-Fi. So you basically turn that device on, you can hook up a bunch of computers and actually use it as a mobile Wi-Fi router.
Nice.
So let's go see what I got in my queue right now.
Yeah, I looked through his marketplace. He's purchased 34 apps off Windows Marketplace right now.
Yep, put a little bit of money out there too. So these are the ones that are actually coming, so we can actually take a look at the DVDs I'll be getting in the mail. But if I click up here, I can see what my instant queue is. So these are the ones that I can actually go ahead and start up via the 360 or any other devices that support Netflix streaming. And I can go down here, let's see if we can find Star Wars on here. Oh, it's Star, whoops, let's actually hit Star, Space Wars. I think there's a space in there. Let's go ahead and search for that.
There we go, going out.
Let's find it there. So these are the different movies out there. So if it's in the results, we can click on it and add it to our queue and then be able to watch it. The next app that I was on quite a bit is actually the Bing application. It's in beta right now, and you can get it, where is it again? m.bing.com/mobile or something like that.
Yep.
So you can actually download the beta version on there.
Don't worry, we'll put it on the video here.
Get on the link out there.
Absolutely.
But this is actually a really nice application. The actual voice recognition works pretty good on here. So let's go search for something. Where do we want to try to find some dinner at?
Isn't that one in Marketplace too?
It is, but it's not the beta version.
Okay.
It's the actual older version.
Very
so
cool.
I guess we're kind of talking right now while it's trying to translate. But let's see where do we want to try to find some dinner? Let's look for some pizza for dinner maybe. Okay, so let's try that again.
Well, I'm sure we'll find something.
We'll find something.
We completely talked over that. We'll try to keep letting Kevin speak this time.
Pizza? thinking. And there, hey, look at that, it found that. So it's searching for results with pizza in it based on our current location. I maybe didn't update my current location, so it's looking, it looks like it did find where we are
Tampa,
here.
Florida, beautiful.
So now we'll just click on that little link there.
Hold on. I'll prove to them we're in Tampa, Florida. This is your gratuitous out the window shot of Tampa Bay. So those of you up north, oh well.
So then we can go and get driving directions from that, from our current location to California Pizza Kitchen. And then it'll actually show a list first, and then if we want, we can switch over and actually get a map of that as well. So it's a really pretty cool application.
That is pretty cool. I mean, think about that. You know, real world application, you're driving along, you actually speak into it. You're not typing and driving.
Right.
You just said, hey, listen to what I'm saying, and it translated that, went back on the fly. That is pretty phenomenal.
And it does actually even work pretty decent. I was driving home last night and actually using it with my truck with the big mufflers on it, the big rumbling, and it did do a pretty decent job of actually interpreting it. So it's there. The technology's pretty decent.
There you go. All right, check this out. So as this map is coming up, it's coming up with the aerial view, and it's doing the live traffic feed all in one fell swoop. That is pretty darn cool.
So this is the first one. The resolution on here is 800 by 480. It's not the new fancy OLED ones, but it's actually the old LCD. It's pretty decent. So if you can see here, it's pretty responsive as we move it around. It's actually got the multi-touch available to us.
And you're using Google Maps because that's pretty much across the board on all the
exactly.
phones and all the platforms.
We can run it on the different applications out there, the different devices out there. Look at it here. You can see that the screen is much bigger, which I guess in some cases is good. In some cases it might be a little too big for people's hands. I found it's a pretty good compromise comparing the two here. You're actually using the HD2 just because you can get so much more information on there. The resolution on here is actually 480 by 320, and if we look at it here, it's a pretty nice bright screen. Kind of really lights up the world. And this also has, we also have our multi-touch available to us, so it's pretty decent. So it's not a bad little device, but again, you can kind of see this one's much bigger. So that's kind of the comparison between the iPhone and the HD2. Now let's just put one right on top of each other to kind of get a sense
there you
of.
go.
You can see, so slightly, the HD2 is slightly bigger, but we're just getting a lot more kind of real estate, as you say, from the screen as opposed to kind of the bezel.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the first generation of Android Google phones, again, not a bad little device. I think it's the same resolution as the iPhone, which is 480 by 320. So it's a little bit smaller. So again, it's really kind of a nice, compact little device. Flop over from the keyboard. So as you can see, the display is much smaller, but it's still pretty bright display. It's probably about the same kind of brightness if you look. It's actually a pretty nice device. This is what I had before I got my HD2, and I really liked it.
Where'd your other one go?
It's actually under 10 feet of seawater right now, so I think in about 3 weeks I'm going to try to put on my wetsuit and dive down and kind of see all the barnacles and stuff encrusted on it. That should be some interesting pictures.
Barnacles encrusted HD2. That'll be impressive.
And if it fires up, I'll tell you what. We got some exciting stuff going on there. Somehow I got a feeling it won't. But I had my phone on it, so it was really cool because everything that I had on the device, like the pictures, the text messages, use Exchange server, so that does the contacts back and forth. But all those types, the pictures and text messages and anything else like that, documents, actually synced up via my phone from my HD2 that was under the water last time before I synchronized, before it fell in. It actually went up to my phone, and then I installed my phone and kind of configured it on this device, and magically all the pictures and text messages showed up on there, so it was pretty cool. I was pretty happy with that. So here we're looking at the Touch Pro 2, and again, just like the Google phone, it's got the keyboard on it. So that one doesn't alternate up, but you can see a nice big keyboard on there. The display on here is actually the same as the HD2, which is the 800 by 480, nice bright display. So like I say, this is actually a pretty nice, pretty fast little phone here. It's got the single touch, so it doesn't have the capacitive touch on it. You can see it's probably got a little bit more of a bezel and kind of more plastic on the front, but still it's a pretty decent phone.
Yeah, and you know, hey, this is indestructible enough that Joe Healy can carry it around without it getting too much damage.
So far, yeah.
That's my second smartphone this year. All right. So cool. All right.
So that was a look at the HTC HD2. Special thanks to James Cuomo for helping with the interviews, and a very special thanks to Kevin Wolf for bringing in a ton of devices to play with. I'm Joe Healy, DevFish on Twitter, and this has been another Florida.net Minute.